Hey everybody! So, as y'all know, Vortice has been out for a couple hours now. I want to say around like 2 hours or so for the maintenance. And I'm wanting to give my first impressions on the unit. So, as you can see here, I have her pretty heavily invested. Compared to most players you're going to encounter, I probably have, the best Vortice that you're going to see. Not the best Vortice, I imagine. This is my current setup for her. There's probably a lot of room for improvement. Oh, this isn't my setup. This is my current support setup, I should say, that I have for her. There's probably a lot of room for improvement. After all, this April tribute doesn't really maximize her unique strengths. Now, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is basically, what did I get wrong about Vortice? What did I get right? What are my initial thoughts comparing the units in theory kit versus how she's actually been performing? And basically, is she good? Is she a DPS? And I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to try to clickbait you or anything. I would say I was wrong, or rather, what I said in the video might come across as incorrect. But basically, she is a very, very, very powerful sub DPS. She's probably the best sub DPS in the game from my current testing. As a main, she does perform as a main DPS if you choose to build around her. But at the end of the day, she is still an A-core unit, so her damage does suffer a little. And what do I mean by that? So I have done these two complete clears for D-Tide so far. I did a wave 1 and a wave 3 just because they're the fast ones and are relatively strong matchup, especially for the team comp I'm running, which is pure burst, no scaling. And so this was the first. This is against the wave 1 boss. This was you can see here, highest damage in a single turn, 360k. That is very solid damage for any DPS, just going into a fight, because this was, as I'm about to show you, turn 1. I believe it was the turn 1 damage, at least. And so you'll see here, I don't have any really damaged up relics, only this one, really. And I do have, all the Exalts charged going into it, which is really silly. But, so turn 1, I get full overexalt and then push the boss immediately. You can see here, I'm kind of deliberating. Do I just go for the thing or not? You definitely don't need overexalts. Obviously, this overexalt effect definitely helps with damage, but it gave me a 60 additional damage for this turn, 60,000 additional damage. And so, with all that I set up, you get that big burst of damage here. I don't know why it's saying the tentacles didn't get eaten, because the tentacles are supposed to get eaten. And as you can see, yeah, that big burst gets her the damage immediately. And then, as you go through the fight, you kind of just recharge your resources and set the burst again. So, this was kind of, in my opinion, the best case scenario for the character. This is what I was effectively expecting her to do damage-wise, based in this style of comp. So with that in mind, I'm very happy and satisfied with her performance, even though she doesn't do absurdly broken numbers, as you can suspect, because she is someone that you almost want to take the time to scale up these exalts a little bit. But she is able to instantly clear mob fights, and she does have this nice clean 300k instant burst setup, which is exactly what I wanted from the unit. Now, does this make her a strong DPS? Well, this comp in itself is not going to be amazing. It's basically you're going to just do a burst. You're just going to be trying to get 30k damage burst rotation, 300k damage burst rotations, and that is not amazing. But it's still better than what these units are normally ran in, which is the Corpina comp. And this only works because of her image relic, which I have not discussed yet. But I do get this opportunity to just completely recycle. As the moment I get my red stance, it's turn 4, and I'm able to do her exalt again, which is really silly. But her image relic is actually really broken. Like all the recent image relics have been really strong, and hers is no exception. It double plays her Aldiamus card or her Pursuit card. So, double playing either of these is obviously going to be a really good effect. And yeah. And so, as you can see here, like I've these guys are basically dead. You just set up, you just like go through one more burst rotation, and they all die. And this is basically the same concept with normal Corpita, except for it's way smoother, and the damage is like the same if not better. I would say the damage is better, honestly. And then so that's this style of team. I think her clear and obvious weakness with this team is that you don't have any actual permanent damage scaling. As you can see, my strength actually isn't that high, and I'm kind of just trying to set up for one big damage burst. So this team that obviously I would want to make work is not going to be optimal for a lot of players, and I definitely cannot recommend it. I will get into a moment what teams I do recommend. I just want to show you like kind of how this fight went, and it ends this turn. So as you can see, she is decently solid DPS. I don't think she's going to be a insane carry, but she very easily is able to do 1 million damage roughly over the course of, say, like 6 to 10 turns, and that's good for these. That's good enough for early waves all the time. This is my wave 3 clear. It's I will showcase it to you guys at the end of the video. For now, I'm going to discuss what I think is more optimal team comps for her. And so, the key units I want to discuss here are going to be Gerpy, are going to be Clementine, are going to be Caster, and then not really Miriam, but something like. Honestly, these are the main 3. So I'm not saying this is a team, to be clear. I'm just looking at these 3 individual units right now. So Murphy and Clementine give you something that she desperately wants for these longer fights, and that is infinitely scaling damage. Both of them stack tentacle damage really well because Clementine gives a lot of strength and Murphy is the best tentacle damage support in the game. So as I suspected before, if you have like this E3 G Murphy, she's the best in slot support for sure. And then if you have her at Overexalt, once again I do not believe it's worth it to try to make the Vortice good. You just build the Lemurian team. Clementine I underestimated. So Clementine I said was going to be like okay because Clementine's always good, but what I didn't realize is that Vortice really cares about this damage scaling that you can get up to because she really wants that tentacle damage multiplier to be high. There's a difference between 500 tentacle damage and 1,000 tentacle damage for her multipliers. So any good strength stacking is going to be really good, and that leads us to Caster, who is going to be one of her best teams, is going to be like this Caster stall team that previously was a Caro team usually, but now I think can be viably mixed with Ultra, and it's like something like this: Caster, Erica, and then like some other units. I don't play the team comp. I don't really enjoy the playstyle, so I don't really think much of it. This is this is like one of her teams I think is going to be really strong to play her in as a sub DPS, because I do think she does a really good job as a sub DPS support. You run her with like her wheel and a Keyflare wheel if you're like really poor, or just like honestly just 2 Keyflare wheels will work. You try to charge up her Exalt over the course of multiple mob fights for like trying to make certain fights easier. Or you can just not worry about it and just only rely on the Pursuit for bonus damage, because the Pursuit does do as demonstrated in that fight we just did earlier, significant damage, actually. The other team I want to talk about is basically this team right here with Dorsane and Pikmin. This is a team you see a lot with players because people like Dorsane, and Pikmin is best in slot support. I truly believe, after testing, that Vortice is a really powerful sub DPS in this team. I think Dorsane has a similar problem to Caster, which is you struggle with dealing damage to like mobs and stuff. And in general, like your damage is kind of lacking, so it makes the whole comp feel a bit more clunky. And I think with Vortice on this team, you'll have a very powerful sub DPS that solves a lot of your problems, which was my original estimation of the character. And I would say that what I said in the video might come across as incorrect, but my original estimation for what the character is capable of was correct. So I'm very happy with how much damage she's dishing out. I'm very happy with basically what her place in the metagame appears to be, which is she's going to be a sub DPS for off-color A-core teams like Caster and Dorsane. Unfortunately, we did not get a hyper carry like Machette or anything. I was really, really hoping and praying that we would get like A-Core's second DPS ever, but she ends up being a sub DPS very similar to the vein of Corposant. But because she's able to dish out like 300k damage very easily, it does mean that you're able to play her as a carry for these weaker waves. She's not going to be a wave 5 unit. I have not tested her in wave 4 yet. I believe for a wave 4 like that we currently face, it is very possible to use her. Obviously, it's not going to be with this first team. You want to have a more sustain heavy team because she does do max health damage. But I do think she is going to be a strong unit that people are going to play a lot, which makes me very excited. And I'm just going to basically show you how I plan on playing her in the future as just a Orita replacement in the Corpita comp, basically. Instead of it being a discard, you have this bit of synergies. And I'll speed up the fight. It's not that interesting. So, as we discussed earlier, she can just do big burst. And yeah, this is admittedly not good damage, but we didn't have Vuln or the Tentacles consumptions. It would be really nice if the Tentacle consumption was higher, but whatever. Like, I would like if they increased the Tentacle consumption she's capable of, but it's fine. And yeah, I mean I'm not very happy with the damage I did here, but the fight still ends up being 8 turns. I end up doing a over 500,000 damage Exalt with her in the later half of this fight. And that's kind of what I want to showcase here, really, more than anything else, is that she is capable of dishing out this big damage. But as you can see, she's just solid for support damage as well, because that was a 30k damage pursuit. And once again, 30k damage pursuit. And that is just solid for cleanup damage. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're running a weaker, like an E3 one or something, or just as a support, then you're able to dish out this very significant... Also, I think this is a misplay. I really should have just held on to the Corpo thing. I made a mistake trying to playing it now, but it's fine. If you're, as I was saying, if you're running a weaker team for whatever reason, or if you're not trying to run her as a carry, but as a sub DPS, she is able to still dish out very solid damage for that role. And I think players are going to be impressed with her performance-wise. And yeah, so I'm not hitting into Vuln, which is very unfortunate, but it's still 200k damage. Right, that's like the thing I'm trying to emphasize, is that she's not going to be giving you the biggest numbers in the world. But she dishes out solid damage consistently over the course of a few turns. Like every 4 turns or so, you can very easily do solid damage. And if you're choosing to invest in her as a like a scaling carry with like Corpusant or something, I do believe she'll be able to clear content for the average player. Mine obviously does a lot more damage than the average player is going to be at level 9 because she's at level 90. So I don't believe she's going to be carrying any hard wave, like really hard waves. But and while you guys won't be, but that is why I have to say that I hate to say it. Callie was right. At Climb Callie on YouTube was correct. She is a sub DPS, but also look at this big number that I do here, because this is when the fight ends. Like, yes, she is a sub DPS, but like, look at this. 500,000 damage XL. Like, come on. Anyways, yeah, that's it for that's all I want to show you guys. My first impressions of the character are basically she was exactly what I suspected she would be. She does decent damage if you want to invest in her. She's definitely a good replacement for Rita, but she is just generally speaking a sub DPS in general. Her pursuit ended up overperforming in my eyes, and I think that she will be a very good support for a lot of players, or just for a lot of newer players in A4 carry, even at like these lower levels, like a level 70 Enlightened 3, because her overassault is not necessary in the slightest. So, final impressions, my final assumptions with how this unit goes is I still think she is going to be a B plus or like A tier unit. Having a sub DPS for off-color units in A-Core is very good. Having a E3 unit in A-Core is very good. And overall, I am satisfied with her performance. Anyways, I hope that she ends up proving to be fun for y'all. I hope you guys end up enjoying her. Or if you choose to skip her, that you are satisfied with that decision after watching this video. Overall, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.